Let's learn how to make a resume.
So let's take a ride and learn more about creating a resume and interviewing. Let's go!
I just graduated from graduate school, and I got my degree, but now I need a job, and for that I need to know how to do an interview and get a resume done that's good. How do I do that?
Right, so just to clarify, you graduated with a master's in counseling, and so now you're preparing your resume and interviewing for work. Now, you will be preparing your resume and interviewing for your practicum and internship positions as well, so it never hurts to get some practice now. It's recommended that you tweak your resume each time you apply for a new position so that you're making your resume fit the job description of the position you're applying for. It's worth reviewing the basics about resume writing.
What are the basics?
Well, there are 3 things you want to keep in mind before you even begin the process. First, you want to pinpoint what job you want. That means you should get the job descriptions to be specific. Number 2, you want to adjust your resume to fit the job description you're applying for. And number 3, you want to make your resume as concise and readable as possible. According to a professional resume writer, Susan Ireland, you only have about 8 seconds to catch an employer's attention, the time it takes for them to scan your resume and decide if they want to invite you to have an interview to consider you as a job candidate. The key to passing the 8-second test is to make your resume look inviting and quick to read.
Wow. So what are the different parts of the resume?
Right, there are 4 main parts of the resume. First and foremost is the heading, which includes your name and contact information. You want to make your name stand out, so you might want to use a horizontal line or a shaded bar. Number 2, well, for your contact information, it's a street address is preferable to a post office because it gives the feel of more stability. You'll be writing a job objective. That means that you will be communicating what position you're looking for, and it will be a reference point for the rest of the resume. You want to state an objective as concisely as possible. Keep in mind what the job title is you would like next. It's not your current position or your long-term goals, it's the position that you're applying for now.
Cool.
The next part of the resume is the summary of qualifications. This is where you highlight the skills you have for the job you are applying for. This part of the resume is meant to grab the attention of your potential employer. You list your strongest qualifications first. You use 2 short paragraphs or 3 or 4 bullet points, again, making it as concise as possible. And you might want to use a quote from a letter of reference or an evaluation form. Say things in a memorable way and give concrete examples. Instead of saying that you're a reliable, self-motivated individual, say,
I never missed a day during my first year of graduate school.
So I could say something memorable like,
one day I very memorable at the McDonald's.
Right? Something like that. Nice.
Just to clarify, this is not about getting a job at McDonald's. It's about getting a counseling position after you have your graduate degree.
oh.
Yes. There are 3 kinds of resumes: a chronological or historical resume, a functional or skills resume, and a combination of the 2. First of all, a chronological resume. This is the most traditional form of resume. It highlights your work history and it uses job titles as headings. The functional or skills resume might better format to use if you have long periods of unemployment, if you're an older job seeker and you're needing to emphasize skills from an earlier part of your work history, or if you want to emphasize relevant volunteer experience. So with a functional or skills resume, you would emphasize accomplishments, you would focus on your experiences and your skills, and you would use skills headings. So a combination resume highlights both work history and skills. It's useful if you're changing careers. It may help remedy an uninteresting job titles, or being in the same position for many years. A few more tips about writing your resume. Use action language. That's right, lots of verbs in your resume. You might want to include your professional affiliations. Do not include references or say references provided upon request. That's needless. Get it all on one page, 2 at the most. Remember, concise is better. And pay attention to white space because it makes it more readable. So often you will be submitting your resume by email. So to do that, you would send your resume as an attachment in a PDF format. You would send your cover letter in the body of the email. Use an email address with your name in it so that it's readily recognizable, and you would want to use distinct words for the subject line so it doesn't get lost in their spam or junk mail. Next, we want to talk about the cover letter. This is how you introduce yourself to your potential employer, and for that reason, some say that this is the most critical part of your pursuit of a job. It is the first impression that you make and can be the determining factor of whether or not your resume is read and an interview is pursued. In the cover letter, you will want to cite the job title and request an interview. You will want to connect your achievements from the past with the job requirements, giving specific examples, using action words, and then you would want to restate your desire for an interview as you close.
So, one of my achievements could be kicking a basketball, right?
Maybe. All right, social media. Networking is a key aspect of professional success, and social media can be an integral part of that networking. Although it cannot replace a phone call or face-to-face contact, it is a tool to help facilitate communication with your network of professionals. Some social media, like Facebook, is more for connecting with family and friends. However, this is a useful tool for connecting with fellow classmates. The current cohort with the Youth and Children Specialization is in the process of creating a Facebook page where we can connect with one another, and I recommend that we as students do more of that. The biggest social media site for business professionals is LinkedIn, which currently has hundreds of millions of members. It is recommended that you join a professional network if you have not already. Wendy Enlow and Louise Kersmark, in their recent book, Modernize Your Resume, make some helpful suggestions about using a LinkedIn account. So the LinkedIn account is meant to give your readers more and different information about you and your career than what is in your resume. Some of it will be the same as what is found in your resume, like your college degrees, your professional training, your employer's names, and job titles. But you can give more detail and paint a picture of who you are and what you can do by using LinkedIn. You can also use images, videos, and PowerPoint presentations to strengthen your profile. Next, your profile should be written in a less formal style than your resume. You want it to tell the same story as your resume, but with different tone and more detail. And then your prospective employers who see your resume are likely to look at your LinkedIn profile before they can contact you. So it is worth the effort to create your professional heading and profile. And once that is done, you may want to add your LinkedIn address to the top of your resume. Next, moving on to interviewing. There are 2 things that you want to do ahead of your interview. Number 1, investigate before you even apply. This will help narrow down your search, and it will also help you to speak to how your past experience and skills fit with this agency or organization. Find out about the agency or organization. Check out their website. What are the demographics of the clients they serve? What is the agency's mission statement, goals, or objectives? Who would be your supervisor? What is their theoretical orientation? What is their personal style? What is their leadership style? What is their area of expertise? Ask for a copy of the job description. Number 2, prepare yourself to answer common interview questions. You may want to have a friend pretend to be the interviewer, or you may want
Like me.
That's right, like someone. Or you may want to write your answers to those questions, whatever helps you to process your thoughts so that you are more prepared to answer the interviewer's questions. Here are some examples of questions that you may want to be ready to answer. Number 1, tell me a little about yourself. Describe your personality. So yes, be ready to talk about yourself.
I'm kind of like a, yeah.
Very good. Number 2, why should I hire you for this position? Number 3, describe your strengths and weaknesses. Again,
I'm strong, not weak.
Number 4, what theory do you prefer to use when you counsel people? Number 5, what have you found to be most challenging about counseling? Describe a time when you found a counseling situation or issue to be difficult. Number 6, what is your career goal in 5 years or in 10 years?
McDonald's.
Hopefully not. And number 7, in 3 sentences, describe what you would contribute to our agency.
Meow.
There are 4 things that you can do to prepare on the day of the interview. Number 1, dress professionally. Iron your clothes, dress conservatively, wear an effective deodorant, but avoid strong perfumes and colognes. Number 2,
Because they might sneeze.
that's right, they might be allergic, or it just might be irritating to be smelling a strong scent in a closed area. Number 2, bring your cover letter and resume.
Bring references with phone numbers included. Number 3, be 10 to 15 minutes early. Never late, never late.
Get directions and any specific instructions you need to find the place of the interview. Use the restroom and check to make sure that you don't have any food in your teeth.
Relax and be yourself.
You have any food in your teeth?
I don't think so. Last but not least, and actually first and foremost, pray about where God would have you to be in your next position. Pray about where to apply. Pray about your interview, that God would give you favor. Pray that God would put you in a place where you can use the gifts that you have to be a blessing.
Social media. Subscribe.
I'd like to make some book recommendations for what I found helpful.
Books.
First and foremost, this was the most helpful book that I checked on preparing a resume. It contains lots of sample resumes and helpful tips about LinkedIn.
Modernize your
It's Modernize Your Resume, Get Noticed, Get Hired by Wendy Enlow and Louise Kersmark. Next, the Smart Guide to the Perfect Job Interview. This contains a list of websites, all-purpose, government, industry, and interest-specific sites and business sites that may help you in your job search. Number 3, The Complete Idiot's Guide to the Perfect Resume by Susan Ireland. Susan Ireland is the creator of an online resume and cover letter builder for job seekers. She has worked extensively with various people to create personalized resumes.
Oh, so if you become a counselor, you get gold. Nice.
Number 4, 1001 Phrases You Need to Get a Job. The Hire Me Words That Set Your Cover Letter, Resume, and Job Interview Apart by Nancy Schumann and Barton J. Nadler. This book was full of examples of wording like answering and asking questions during an interview, buzzwords for social and human service jobs, and phrases that you might want to use in your cover letter or resume. And Packaging Yourself, the Targeted Resume by Kate Wenelton. This book was written by a vocational coach who has been helping people develop their careers since 1978. This book also contains useful information about creating your LinkedIn heading and profile, as well as some sample resumes that may be useful to look at.
I'd like to thank Jed Shaver
For his help in videoing and adding interesting tidbits to my presentation. Thank you.
You're welcome.